Good morning, everybody. Jesse Fewell here with your morning fuel, joining you for coffee like I'm trying to do now on a regular basis. Gets me going just to kind of share thoughts with you guys about some topics. And the topic that's on my mind right now is this topic of what? No estimates. This is an actual thing. This is a movement. This is a real hashtag where there are people out there who believe that you can run a business effectively without making appropriate financial decisions. And it comes from the notion that, from the IT guys, that IT is really a pure R&D effort. And the idea here being that a researcher, an innovator shouldn't have to be bogged down with business considerations and business functions. And, you know, I'm sorry to say, but if you're in IT, you're in a business. You're not a researcher. If you're a researcher, go for it. Go get your PhD and then go find yourself a grant and then go spend 6 to 12 months looking into stuff, and then hopefully you'll have something to show at the end. That's not the business world. If you have a job where you're paid a salary, then the people who are behind that, they're faced with fiduciary responsibilities. Do I spend 2 to 3 man months on this particular investment, this particular initiative, or do I spend 2 to 3 man months on this one? Well, that's portfolio management, Jesse. Okay, yeah, fine, but many times, once the portfolio approves a given initiative, now it's up to program managers or product managers to trade off the different details in that. Now, one of the popular examples that comes up around this is from this book, the Kanban book. And in the Kanban book, the story that's told in there is how the project manager negotiated with customers and stakeholders not to have to do estimates anymore. There's 2 secret sauces in there, though, that people tend to forget. Number one is he had data. And the data was that an average feature would take, I forget the number, something like 20 man days. And that was it. That was the average feature, plus or minus, a certain standard deviation. Hey, Mr. Business Sponsor, wouldn't you rather save your time and hassle with all of these estimation meetings and the delays in getting those estimates if we just assumed, based on historical trend, that our features generally cost this amount of labor? He had data. And so you can't just decide, oh, I'm not going to give you any information at all whatsoever, and hopefully you'll make the right choices based on cost and value. Value is one consideration, but cost is another. Do you think that maybe when you go to the department store, it's kind of helpful to have a sticker price? I don't know, so that you can tell whether or not something is worth it, whether you even want it. Now, sometimes a higher sticker price means it's probably worth more in the eyes of some people, but not to the eyes of creators. To the eyes of consumers and purchasers, maybe. But if I'm creating something, I've got to have like a sense of sticker price on stuff. And so that's one thing that people forget about the Kanban book. The second thing is, dude had to have a collaborative conversation. Have a collaborative conversation. You can't just say, no estimates for you. I am not a collaborative person. I don't want. You can't just be a jerk about it. Sit down and talk about what are the alternatives. How can I help you make decisions? We're finding that the team doesn't have the skills to come up with reliable numbers. So if I can give you numbers, but for right now, they're not reliable. Maybe over the course of time, if I continue to give you numbers, it will triangulate and refine. We'll get empirical about this. But to dispense with the whole discipline of mathematics or the whole discipline of economics as not appropriate to project management is just a non-starter. And, if you want to win the hearts and minds of your managers about doing Agile about utilizing Agile practices and embodying Agile principles, if you want to move in that direction, you've got to speak with credibility. So this is just my thought for the morning here, that the no estimates guys tend to forget the point. In fact, one of the earlier conversations was that this place where we're not wasting time on doing estimation activities, it's a destination. It's not a technique. It's a result of collaboration and empirical measurements and having concrete lead times and concrete cycle times. If you get lean about your practices and your disciplines, sure, maybe you might be able to get to a place where it's not as necessary, but that can't be your starting point. Well, we're self-organizing. We're a self-organizing team, and you should let us decide how to do our Okay, fine. Can you deliver? Can you deliver reliably? Do you have working, valuable, appropriate investment kind of output each and every couple of weeks? Do you or don't you? No. Well, you can't have it both ways. You can't just say we self-organize but then never produce. Or we can't self-organize but we produce not enough in order to meet investment windows and investment timelines. You've got to be to have some credibility. Delivery gives you credibility, data gives you credibility, but attitude doesn't. So those are just my thoughts for the morning on the no estimates. I'm going to come to you with a couple more here and there and see where it goes. All right, have a good one.